And now, around the world and around the corner, it's the David Bowers Awards, bringing the best in indie music to millions of listeners worldwide with your host, the David Bowers. We've got a fantastic lineup of guests, our entire crew here at the Asylum, and me. I'm John Bon Jovial. And now, here's the voice of indie music, the David Bowers.
Thank you very much, and welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, John Bon Jovial, for open the doors to another hour of music and madness here on the David Bowers Awards, where every show is an award show, which makes all of our guests award winners, like, for example, our first guest, who is a previous award winner. She's been on, 2-3 times at least. We haven't heard from her for a while. She's taken a little time off to go get married, have a baby. We'll have to see if we can't get her back on the show, because I'm sure she's got some great stories to tell us, but she's got a great new release out, and I knew you'd want to hear it, so we're going to play it for you right now. She is Michaela, and this is her brand new tune, a little bit different for her. It's called Pieces.
Try anything to destroy your dreams, because of jealousy and the self-esteem. Giving up is hard to do. Make it happen, what they say to you. Oh, if it was that easy, I wouldn't be left here and an illusion, but I'm fighting for my life. Depression, 1,000 cuts of a knife. Success is measured by your happiness, not by what anyone else says. Are you scared one day that you have it all?
There you have it. That's Michaela. What a different sound for her, right, John Bon Jovial?
I tell you what, I'm loving it. This is so different and such a departure from Michaela. This is, she's always been great as a hardcore rocker, but this has a melodic tone to her voice, and it's like in a storytelling sense.
Yeah, it's kind of dark.
And it is dark, but, you take that out of the mix if that's even possible. I don't know that you want to with this song. But her voice, to me, is so rich and so pure in this. And I've always detected that in the other stuff that she's done, but she's always done that hardcore, hard-on-your-throat rock and roll stuff, which is fine.
Yeah.
But this ballading, if you want to call it that, it's a nice departure for her. I do like it.
Is definite departure for her. I really would love to get her back on the show and talk to her about how she came up with this, because it is such a departure for her. Really, a dark, kind of eerie sound, and it's kind of haunting. I like it. It's just caught me by surprise when I first heard it, and I said, "Hey, we got to put this on the show and see how people like it." Speaking of liking things, how are you liking things down in the swamp lately?
Well, it looks like we're going to get another tropical storm of sorts here in the next 5 or 6 days. Oh yes, one of the truly great things about living in Florida is stressing every year over whether your roof is going to be ripped off of your house.
Well, you just got a new one to rip off.
It's a thrill ride,
Yeah.
Yeah, we just got a new roof on the house, and so that's we got very fortunate with that, because the insurance covered it for something other than a hurricane. Because I don't know about other parts of the world, but when you put Naples and Florida next to each other, then the automatic reaction by any vendor, regardless of who it is, Naples, Florida, oh, you're rich. Yeah, we're going to charge you more.
Well, it's not only that. It's always the insurance. The insurance, you get into a place where hurricanes are obviously, it's going to happen. And so they don't include that in the basic policy. You got to get extra coverage for a hurricane.
You have to get extra coverage for it. And the thing is, with hurricane coverage in Florida, the way state law is written is that your standard deductible, let's just say for the sake of argument, you have a $500 deductible on your homeowner's insurance. Mm-hmm. Well, a hurricane is different. Depending upon the coverage that you buy, your deductible is either 5% or 2% of the perceived value of the house. And so, for example, if you have let's say your house is worth $450,000, and you have a 5% deductible, on the surface, 5%, that's not too bad until you do the math and figure out, $22,500 deductible. That's kind of a killer.
Not the kind of pocket change you usually carry around with you as you're strolling down the street.
Kind of chump change I got.
Really, I heard that. Well, we've got to change because we got a lot of music here today. We got a lot of good stuff for you. A couple of returning guests, and we're going to get to our first guest in just a couple of minutes, right after we listen to this latest release from Linda Marks. And we're going to get to it right now. It's called Monuments of Love, and here it is.
Monuments of steel, where people kneel. Monuments of stone, where we pray alone. Legacies we leave, the stories we weave. So when the candle grows dark, it's proof that we were here. Like a pebble, life's ripples travel on, sending the reach of our hearts. Loving thoughts and loving actions are the building blocks we use, creating a foundation with roots. Monuments of tears, Thousands mark the years, monuments of words, blessings to be heard, reminders of our dreams, our journey to be free. So when the candle goes dark, our lives have meaning and worth. Thinking of our neighbors, our family and our friends, charging the lights of life inside. Our global heart is healing, one gesture at a time, giving our children a chance. Monuments of art, expressions of the heart, monuments of clay, sculpted in place. Inspiration is our guide, the divine lives inside, and the fruits of our labor add up over time to monuments of love, a treasure trove for us, monuments of love, monuments of love.
And there you have it. Linda Marks. Hello, Linda. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing fine, thank you. So glad to have you back here with us. It's been a while.
I know. It's a real pleasure. We've had a pandemic in between.
Oh, we've had a bunch of stuff. Yeah, we were shut down with the pandemic, and from what I hear and see, that did not stop you because you have an awful lot of things going on, happening to happen in the near future, and we're gonna dive right into it if you don't mind, because I want to hear about this. Now, you're putting, if I've got this straight, you had a couple of albums you were working on when the pandemic shut down most everything, and as a result of that, you have a triple album release program, well, virtually in process. You had You had one show about a week or so ago with more in the works.
Yes. Well, I actually was planning to do a double album release show at the end of 2020. And when the world shut down at the beginning of March of 2020, the first album, which is called The Piano, it only needed 2 more tracks before we could master and edit and master. And one was a saxophone track, and I think one was a banjo track, and everything else was in. And my second album, called Songs at the Heart of Life, was about 80% done. And when things shut down, I figured, we'll see how things are. Maybe the studio will open during the summer. But during the summer, it was very clear nothing was going to happen. So Doug Hammer, my sound engineer, who's a technical genius as well as a wonderful musical genius, he figured out a way that the two of us could work remotely to finish the album. So my poor saxophonist had to figure out how to get good sax recorded remotely, which is a little harder than some other instruments. The banjo was easier. And so we were able to release not Monuments of Love, that was the piano, but instead of being released in June, it didn't come out till the fall. And Songs at the Heart of Life did come out on time on November 25th. During the pandemic, I found myself quite inspired to write a whole bunch of songs, many with pandemic roots. So Monuments of Love was just released on August 1st, and my second pandemic album is called Home, and we're pretty far along on the editing of that. That's going to come out again on November 25th, 2021. And I'm now also into working on my 2022 album called Everyday Legends. I've written 6 of the songs so far for that album. I've got some space to write the rest of them. But it's been quite astounding to be creatively productive and then find ways to actually record the albums and orchestrate the albums and get them out there. So on August 1st, that was my triple album